The air in the little cafe was laced with roasted beans and bittersweet nostalgia. It was the same place where our love once bloomed over shy glances and shared lattes, where fingers brushed over mugs and laughter lingered between sips. Now, she sat across from me, her face unreadable, the delicate clink of her spoon against porcelain the only sound bridging the silence. "He's greater," she said, her voice calm, almost too calm. Not warmer, not more loyal, just greater. That single word hung in the air like smoke, vague, suffocating, fatal. My heart didn't break with a crash, but with a quiet unraveling, like thread pulling from a worn seam I hadn't noticed was fraying. She wasn't angry. Her tone was gentle, steady, practiced, even, as if she'd rehearsed this moment in her mind until the pain of it dulled. I had thought this place, this familiar cafe with its honey-colored lights and worn leather seats, was her way of softening the blow, a tribute to where we began. But it wasn't a memory she came to honor. It was a grave she came to dig. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she murmured, her fingers tracing circles on the rim of her cup, avoiding my gaze. The overhead light caught the edge of her spoon, flashing briefly like a knife. "But it did," she added. My throat tightened, but I forced the words out, quiet, cracked. "It did." Her eyes dropped to the spirals of cream in her coffee, watching them spin into stillness. "He makes me feel radiant," she whispered. Radiant. That word crushed something inside me, as if every tender moment I'd given her, every word of encouragement, every late-night conversation, every effort to make her feel safe and seen, had only dimmed her light. 2 years I had spent pouring everything I had into her, believing I was building something lasting. But I wasn't igniting her. I was fading her. I left the cafe like a ghost, silent, detached. The world felt blurred, like I was moving underwater. My body obeyed commands my heart didn't understand. Her words looped in my head, over and over. Greater, radiant. What did he have that I didn't? What spark did I lack? I never asked. The answer terrified me more than the silence. The weeks that followed were a haze of grief that never climaxed, only simmered. I saw her online, glowing in his arms. Her smile brighter than I'd ever seen it. It felt like a betrayal deeper than infidelity, like I had been a placeholder for something better, something she finally found. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I clung to the empty side of the bed like it might still hold her warmth. My friends tried. Nights at crowded bars, endless distractions, anything to pull me from the wreckage. But grief is quiet and patient. It waits until you're alone. And my apartment was nothing if not silent. She never messaged. Not on my birthday. Not to check in. Not even to say goodbye. That, in its own way, hurt the most, like she had erased me completely. But in that silence, something unexpected happened. I stopped waiting. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. Just quietly, slowly, like a wound closing without you noticing, until one day, you touch the scar and realize it no longer bleeds. I turned inward. Not to win her back, but to find the parts of myself I'd given away, try and be enough for her. I started lifting weights again. The ache in my muscles was something real, something I could own. I hiked mountains, wandered through unfamiliar cities, breathed an air that didn't carry her scent. I bought a camera and learned to capture the beauty I'd stopped noticing. Sunlight through tree branches, laughter spilling from strangers, the calm curve of a river at dusk. I unfollowed her, blocked her updates, not to spite her, but to survive myself. Healing wasn't a straight line. It was jagged and slow, but it came. I learned to find comfort in my own company. I rediscovered joy in the little things. The warm silence of early mornings, the satisfying crunch of leaves under my boots, the sound of my own breath when the world stood still. Then, almost a year to the day, her name appeared on my phone. "Can we meet?" I stared at it for a long time, my thumb hovering over the screen. I could have ignored it, erased it, but curiosity, that old ache, won. We met at the same cafe. Full circle, same table, different man. She walked in with none of the confidence I remembered. Her steps were unsure, her smile forced, her eyes clouded with fatigue. She sat down, her hands trembling as she stirred her tea. "Thank you for coming," she said softly. I didn't speak. I let the silence hold her accountable. "I'm not here to justify anything," she said, her voice shaking. I need to say this." She took a breath and whispered, "I thought he was greater, but he wasn't, not even close." I said nothing, just watched as the woman who once walked away from me with such conviction now unraveled in front of me. "It was thrilling," she confessed, her voice catching. "Everything felt electric, like a high I didn't want to come down from. But highs fade, and what came after was chaos, lies, guilt, betrayal. And by the time I saw what I'd lost, you were already gone." Her hand reached for mine, but I didn't move. I stayed still, steady, a quiet fortress. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I know I don't deserve anything. I was selfish. But I miss you every single day. If there's even a piece of you that still cares, please." Her sobs filled the space between us, heavy and raw. I thought I'd feel triumph, victory, something, but all I felt was peace. The storm had passed, and I was still standing. "I'm not angry anymore," I said finally, my voice calm, grounded. "But I'm not the man you walked away from." Her tears flowed faster. Her shoulders shook. "I loved you," I continued, "more than I've ever loved anyone. I gave you everything I had, hoping one day you'd see me. I used to dream about this moment, about you coming back, realizing you were wrong." I paused, met her eyes. "But now, I'm whole without you." She covered her face, the sound of her crying quieter now, almost ashamed. "I'm glad you found your truth," I said gently. "But I don't want apologies or promises or maybes. I want peace, and I've built it." The silence that followed was intense. It was clean, a final breath before goodbye. She stood, wiping her eyes, her voice barely above a whisper. "I wish you everything good." "You too," I replied. She left without looking back. This time, I didn't watch her go. I didn't need to. I sipped my coffee, stepped outside, and breathed in the crisp air. It tasted like freedom. She had called him greater. But a year later, she returned broken, and I had found myself.